I'm Steve Salisbury. A little steak to chew on. Dallas Cowboys have had a rough week. They got beaten by the Atlanta Falcons. Didn't look good doing it. They're standing at 3-5, another season. Down the gurgler. Their coach, Jason Garrett, there's speculation that he may be fired. That's not even the worst thing that happened to the Cowboys. Not this week anyway. And the worst thing that happened to the Cowboys didn't even happen on the field. It happened in a radio booth or a radio station where Jerry Jones has his show, I believe, on WRLD in Dallas. Jerry came out and said that he does not see a scenario where he will not have final say on all personnel matters. Oh no, that's a bad thing. Jerry doesn't understand that it's a bad thing. And that is a bad thing because Jerry Jones has ultimate power there. Ultimate power corrupts. And I don't understand how Jerry can't see this. Jerry is so smart. I met Jerry at a bathroom, actually, in Phoenix, Arizona, at Super Bowl 42. I said, Mr. Jones, it's a pleasure to meet you. How y'all doing? Huge hands, humongous hands, how you doing? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. He's got a bunch of 30-year-old women all over him. I mean, he's Jerry Jones. But Jerry Jones' team is not winning, and they're not going to win. They have not won a playoff game in 15 years. And they look to be a team just out of control, not really know what's going on, looking bad on the field. Jerry needs to hire a football guy. And the proof is in the pudding because the 2 times in his tenure as owner where he's actually hired a football guy, the team has responded beautifully. First time was before he actually took ownership of the team, or after he took ownership of the team, he hired Jimmy Johnson. And he had the foresight to sit down with Eddie DeBartolo, who at that point was owning the 49ers, who had won 4 Super Bowls in the 80s and were the class of the NFL. And he asked Eddie DeBartolo, he said, what do I need to do to make a successful team? And apparently what Eddie DeBartolo told him was, you need to hire a good football guy, have him get good players, and get the hell out of their way. And that's what Jerry did for the first couple years. Hired Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson worked his magic. They won 2 titles. And in 93 or 94, after they'd won 2 Super Bowls, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson got into a room, could not work through their differences, and Jerry Jones fired Jimmy Johnson and screwed up his franchise. Never understood that at the time, but he did. As a 49er fan, I listened to that and I thought, yes! He's gotten rid of the best coach in the NFL, and he doesn't understand that this is a bad thing. But what Jerry Jones said after he fired Jimmy Johnson was, any of 500 coaches could coach a team that's talented. Wrong, and he found that out. He did hire Barry Switzer, who ended up winning a title a year and a half later. However, that was all Jimmy Johnson's players. So I think what is important is that Jerry Jones understood back in 1990 or 1989 that he needed to hire a football guy. And it appears that earlier this decade, before he hired Bill Parcells, that he realized that again. Now, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you need to look at this and you need to understand that Jerry doesn't know what he doesn't know. And that's a very dangerous thing. Now, we're not talking about lives, we're talking about football. So it's not a life-threatening situation here, but you guys aren't winning anything until Jerry figures it out. And Jerry hasn't figured it out. And I don't know who you can call within the Dallas Cowboys organization who can say, Jerry, it's not working, man. Make a change. Fire yourself and hire a GM and get the hell out of his way. But I mean, I kind of get Jerry Jones and why things are going the way they are. You think about it. Here's a guy from Arkansas or Oklahoma or wherever the hell he's from. I think it's Arkansas. Do you think anybody thought when he was a kid that he was going to be a billionaire, that he was going to the Dallas Cowboys? No, of course not. Guy's overcome all kinds of obstacles in his life. It's just one more obstacle. But the bottom line is that he has limitations in this area. And what he needs to do, and it's a hard lesson apparently for owners to do, is to hire a football guy and get out of his way. That's like the first piece of advice he ever got when he became an owner, and he seems to have forgotten that. But until he remembers that and actually goes out and hires a football guy who actually knows personnel, Dallas Cowboys are going to continue to flail. That's rough, Cowboy fan. I'm sorry. I'm Steak. It's a little steak to chew on. I'll catch you later.